feel like everyone else is playing it safe while you're itching for that next big frontier? Same. That is why I stalk. Yes, I stalk LinkedIn to find wildcards who are beating a completely to their own beat. Enter Meera, a career marketer who looked up at satellites and said, why not? Today, she's building a marketplace that lets freelance specialists turn space data into business gold. Think about agri information, insurance breakdowns, you name it, and she has it. This conversation, we find out how Meera turned rocket science into real world cash. Buckle up, gravity is optional. Hi Meera, how are you doing?
Hi Neha, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good too. Thank you so much for taking out the time to speak with me today.
My pleasure.
And it was just one of those things that this is where you have to love the power of social media. We found each other on LinkedIn out of the blue and got connected, so it was really good connecting to you. But let's start with your story. What tell me what you do and how did you get here?
Okay, I'm a marketing professional. And basically, my experience is all into sales and marketing, social media marketing, every kind of sales and marketing. I have worked with different industries from education to IT to retail. So it's a long experience of marketing and sales. And in 2019, I wanted to venture out into entrepreneurship. And then I started my research where which product I should do, which industry I should get into. And I think the place, the people, and your passion, always influence that. So
Yes.
since I live in Trivandrum,
Uh-huh.
which is the biggest hub of space sector with VSSC and three more centers, and my passion was for marketing. So to combine these two, I wanted to do something into space sector related to marketing. And
Yes.
then I started searching because I didn't want to go into manufacturing, so I discarded manufacturing of space products or satellite products or satellites for that matter. The next thing was either consulting or some services. Space sector is basically upstream and downstream. So upstream is basically launching of satellite and parts and parcels of satellites, and downstream is the data that we get from the satellite. How do we utilize the data? So I thought, okay, upstream I'm not doing that, and I wanted to concentrate on downstream because downstream is the main application. Once the satellite is gone, it's the application and the data that come useful. And still there is lots and lots of scope for data to be used, especially and now with the AI, I think the scope has even more increased. So initially I started because I was new to this industry, though I been here into this industry for 16 years, but venturing into this industry was new for me. So I started taking seminars, webinars, workshops with InSpace is an arm of ISRO, which is for public private partnership. So it encourages, it supports, and it mentors public sector. So I got in touch with InSpace and I started taking courses, classes related to earth observation, and then satellite data, images, and all those stuff, how they are used, how they are processed, and everything. So for around 1 year or so, I learned all those things, and then I started my journey alone.
Hmm.
And I got into, I like to talk to various entrepreneurs, people who were engaged in this industry, both upstream and downstream. And then I was suggested that I should have a registered company if I want to do business in space sector, because nobody trusts an individual or LLPs for an international or a global venture. So I worked through that, registered my company. Now it's a private limited company which I'm working with. Then we focused fully on satellite data, that is images, its processing, that is analysis, and then commercial use of satellite data. I developed one, I hired a team to develop one product so that we could engage with people who are interested in these data, these images, and everything. And then over the period of time, I am progressing, but other competitors, especially in space and ISRO, they are doing commendable job. Now they have three websites just for the Earth observation data, which is Vedas. Then there is Bhunidhi, and then there is Bhuvan. So three websites are there to capture this data, and they have their app also. So general public might not know, but the people who are in this industry know it very well. So so I had to pivot, and from satellite images I went because I was always interested in doing some marketing kind of thing with this. So I scrapped the product, everything, and then we started working again on a new product, which is a platform, which you can say is a combination of Upwork and GitHub. So it's like, where you can find freelance GI analyst, then companies which are doing geospatial analysis, then commercial users who want these images to be processed for their commercial use. So it's kind of, we are developing a platform. It is still in the phase of development, where all these three, these are the main entities that talk to each other or communicate each other from data that we collect from the satellite to the commercial use that is being used in different industries. You might know, from agriculture, insurance, defense, marine. So this is basically the idea, is to, because once the data is collected, data is there, whether you have used once or twice, it's always there. And historical data can always be used to form decision, which is like, you can predict things on the base of historical data as well as realistic data. And even in this earth observation, initially optical images were used, but now everything is changed to very high resolution SAR images. SAR images means, like, they are, you can say, they're remote sensing images, wherein radiations are used, and images can be taken even over the clouds, like if the clouds is there, if weather is very bad in the night, or even under the ground. So images can be taken even after all these bottlenecks. So many companies are in India, many companies are there which are making special satellites, drones, and also, those constellation of like Skylink. There is companies which are trying to make constellation of satellites to collect these images. So
Okay.
once these things are happening, a lot of scope would be needed for doing the work on these images, because just
Hmm.
collecting is not enough.
Hmm.
A lot of work has to be done on all these images. So I think the scope is very high. It's very scalable business, and you can say space is the future. Like, it is all the intelligence now you collect from the space.
Yeah.
So I really, for a marketeer, as a
Hmm.
marketeer, you can sell if you believe in that product, and
Yeah.
I thoroughly believe in this product. So I think it's gonna, because I myself is a marketer, I'm a salesperson. So I know if the product is really good,
Hmm.
it has a high potential, and I can sell it, market it. Those things are there with me. So technology wise, it's the best place to be in India for space technology. We have IIST, which is full of space students. We are, in fact, some of the companies are started by IIST students. uh,
Hmm.
and then we have ISRO and in space, who act as a mentor, and they're very like, you're they're very responsive people. You tell them, you talk to them, and they're very helpful, and they're doing very, very nice job with the startup industry in India, especially in the space sector. So with all these things, I think it's gonna make some impact in future. At the moment, we are in the process.
Fantastic, Meera. In one go, you have given me a masterclass on, okay, I know this. How can I use this in a completely new industry? Because I'm around it, I find it exciting, and there is so much potential. Let me give four, three, four, five tries to figure out what would work. And then finally, you arrived at a solution that has scale, that has opportunity, that has, the future, and you know exactly what you're building. This is wonderful, wonderful stuff. Congratulations, and all the very best to
Thank
you.
you, Neha. Thank you.
Where do you feel is the next step for you? Like, what's going to happen next in the story for you?
Actually, we there is a gap. Every venture has to fill a gap. So what happens? The gap is that for commercial use, you need very it's called point of interest data. So your point of interest data is very narrow, and even though we have lot of free data available with all these government agencies like NASA, ISRO, everybody gives lot of free data, but still sometimes for the if you're using it for the commercial use, the point of interest data is very small, and to get that data it sometimes is very tedious. You have to go to some very specialized vendor that is taking out the images and then reaching to that point of interest data, and it can be expensive also, but
Mhm.
main problem is the time it takes.
Mm.
The time lag is very high. It can take sometimes, you have to go through those image mails, then iteration of the images. No, I don't want this point, I want this point, to be
Mm.
so specific. The mail threads and the communication and the process, it is bit lengthy, like
Mm.
but to for the commercial industry, it should not take that much length. That is the reason many companies that are into analytics, their next step was to launch a satellite,
Mm.
to launch their own satellite, so that instead of getting to the vendor, they get the images from their own satellite. So some of
Mm.
the image image and companies who started with the imaging work, analysis
Mm.
work, but they ended building satellites.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll take to that level, but at the moment we want to reduce the time lag. Where the time lag which takes a month, we want that our platform should be able to reduce the time to like 24 hours or 42 hours, something like that, into hours. This is our path. Like next is to first is to connect all these people. Second is to be able to reduce that time gap from a month to like few hours, and a lot of emails that can be reduced to somewhere where you're talking face to face, and just the things are getting done within one day or 2 days, something like that. So that would be like our next step is first to connect the people, then to be able to streamline the process so that the process takes instead of 1 month to 1 day maybe.
Mhm.
So that's our next step. And then don't know, because it's like you evolve with the journey.
Mm.
So I might be like, after maybe 5 years down the line, we might be interested in having our own ground station to collect these images, because till now the ground stations, they are limited in India, and in space again is encouraging private players to set up their ground stations. So at the moment we are not in that position, but
Mm.
after 5 years or maybe some years down the line, we could venture into that also, setting up a ground station, or developing some with some companies our own drones or satellites to to
I love
help
the
them.
ambition. I just love the ambition. So tell me, if you could use a case study, or if you could use an example to illustrate for general people like me who don't understand exactly how it works, what would a typical transaction on the platform look like?
See, typical transaction would be like, first, you need an image. Okay, there would be a data provider for the image. These images can come from ISRO, ESA, or there are many platforms or big companies that are collecting very high resolution images. And I told you in India also some companies are working towards developing images through drones and through their own satellites. So first is the images, then
Hmm.
those images that images have to be analyzed for a commercial use. So commercial use means there could be use like in agriculture, that is like precision agriculture, that
Hmm.
you can use these images to predict which crops are going, this year, which crops we should grow, at which scale it can be grown, and what is the soil at this time, soil moisture. So you can observe the soil, atmosphere and everything, and then predict how much yield it is going to give us. And once you've predicted that, then this data can be used by insurance industries, for to, when they are giving insurance to farmers, they know, okay, this place is going to give me a very good yield, so they can
Mhm.
charge less premium. But then they can find out, which portion is susceptible to some natural calamities, so they can
Mhm.
charge high premium on those land areas. And
Ah.
it's very useful in banking, when they are giving the loans to the farmers or to the commercial, for the manufacturers or somewhere, when they're giving the loans, they know that from these images they can know that in this area whether we should charge some higher interest because it's a risky business, or this is a very predictable thing and we can charge low interest on the loan. So that's related to, banking. And then disaster management, only like, for the disaster management, these images are heaven. They help in so much of real, like real images are there, and predictions are so quick that
Hmm.
natural disasters, meteorological department on and government department, all the states, they are using it to, obviously forecast everything. And then also like theft, police is using this data to in theft recovery. And
Mhm.
it is being used to such an extent that, you have these AI features with these images. And it can be in a form of chip or something. And if thief comes and, it steals, and just on a click of a button the police can be sent to the location of the thief, something like that. So
Wow.
medical, medical emergencies, these are being used. So the use cases is in almost everyday life. And once these, these images are collected and the analysts are working on it, the if the time lag can be reduced, and the analysis could be done with the help of AI, and it can be made really easy for, layman to work on the final product or get the final product. It's gonna be very helpful. So we are trying to connect all these pieces, and yeah, and reduce the time lag, so that it can be, we have to use AI cloud native. So, somewhere cloud, the images can be stored, quickly retrieved, and analysis can be done, pre-analysis can be done for a lot of stuff. And researchers can use this data to find, to, help in their own researches related to observation, space sciences, and all those things.
All right. So let's take the example of the agriculture sector that you started with. So let's say that in the whole path, images have come. Now these images have been analyzed, and you can give information in terms of which are the areas that might be more prone to drought or floods or something.
Hmm.
And a possible use case there is that you can, that insurance companies can use this data to figure out what kind of premium they want to do. Banks can figure out, so essentially fintech can figure out how to use it. Where would the platform sit? Who is the customer and who is the seller, so to say?
The customers would be the banks, and also insurance agents, and then the farmer itself.
Because the farmer wants to have this data so that they can ask for a better
No,
loan
no,
term.
no, 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 no. The farmers can have this data to monitor his own yield.
Okay, all right.
So all these are users. And
Mm-hmm.
the analyst,
Hmm.
they are the people these users can actually contact to. And
Hmm.
because they are not going to, take the images directly and do the analysis, so analysts come in between. Analyst is the middleman, who these commercial users can talk to analyst, or the analysis companies, and they
Hmm.
say that, we are looking into these areas, and we want analysis of these areas, and we are interested in knowing whether, they calculate, you can say the historical data can be used to calculate their whole year for developing their plans, which kind of plan we should develop for these areas. Say, like for example, there are 4 areas: north, south, east, west, and the company want to develop the insurance plan for all 4 areas. So they can talk to these companies or these or hire analysts for themselves, and they can say that, okay, give me the analysis of these 4 areas or these 4 locations, and then we can plan out our say product according to that. And the farmer, they can use in form of mobiles, like apps. There are companies which are giving crop precision or land monitoring apps, and through their apps they can daily or weekly or monthly monitor their soil, their crop, uh, their yield, and know how much potential they have in the market. Once the yield is there, how much predictability is there anything that I need to protect my crop from, is there any disease coming under the soil that I need to protect my crop from. So many companies are giving them a hands-on app which they can use it.
Okay. All right. So, a bank or a company which creates apps that help agriculture, or now that I was speaking to you, somebody like a food sourcing business who's looking to source food from or grains from different areas can use these products. And if they have the idea that they want to use something like this, they obviously don't know how to do it. They come to your platform, and then they're able to connect with the correct kind of analysts who will be able to create
Yes.
this solution for them.
Yes.
Fantastic. So your main customers largely will be a B2B space.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. And how do you go around enlisting the analysts on the other side, the service providers?
So it's like, there are two kind, like one are the companies that are doing this analysis work, and then there are freelancers that are doing this analysis work. So they have the freelancers are generally GIS specialists, like geospatial specialist, and they could be doing freelance because it can be done both ways. They can be working with a company or doing freelance, and we really want to connect those freelancers, because we know some of the people who are trying to work on their own, so that they can remove the middleman and directly work with the government or the agencies. But for freelancer, going directly to these commercial users is very difficult. So it's just like, Upwork, you get a lot of softwares and graphics and everything. And if you need a particular work, you can get the person in that platform to do the particular work. So it's like this platform, the freelancers can register themselves, the companies can register themselves, and the commercial users can also register themselves. So if they are looking for some small work, and they think that just one lancer is enough to analyze this small data,
Hmm.
they can hire that analyst through our platform. We'll charge
Hmm.
a little commission as this industry works, and then they can get their work done, and it's done. But if they're looking for some big project or an ongoing project, then they can look for companies also.
Yeah.
Then they can look for companies also. So
But it sounds to me like in your heart, the focus is more on getting the freelancers to get connected straight
yes.
away.
Yes, because the companies, when they work, they try to get because they don't want to work on little projects. They try to get something from the defense. They try to get something from the government. They try to network their way into something big, some
Big.
big projects.
Yeah.
But for the freelancers and small players, it's very difficult to get into that area. And maybe you're sitting at a small town, and you are a GIS analyst, and you don't know where you should get next project from. So this
Yeah.
platform will work as a place where they can go look
Hmm.
for new projects, and then they can actually connect, they can talk to each other, and see how things go up, and it will provide more opportunity for small players.
Understood. Understood. And obviously, it also highlights how big the opportunity is, right? Because
Yes.
established players are focusing on government and defense because that is where the big ticket money is. But the outcomes or possibilities or the applications of the service are so many, like you just told. So having freelancers on one side and the companies on the other side actually allows within the economy the usage of this becoming more, and the general public, like you said, being more aware of what all can happen, what are the possibilities. Now, if I was to ask you to put on your marketer hat, how do you foresee talking about it more? How will you market it? Is there a game plan that you have thought in terms of a sector that you think is the best one to convert, or a particular you have identified a particular college or a particular area where you can get good freelancers? What are your thoughts?
See, for freelancers, it's like, we have this NRSC is there, which is National Remote Sensing Organization. Then here IIST is there, which is Institute for Space Technologies. So not only these freelancers, there are very small courses are being held for GIS analysts, because after this mapping industry, Google Maps and everything, a lot of people are taking interest into geographies and into images. And we ourselves know some small players also who have done GIS courses, or GIS diplomas from places, and trying to use these platform.
How will you market this product both to the service providers and to the B2B companies?
Okay, so see, LinkedIn is one platform, which is because these companies are very active on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn itself is one platform. Then regular seminars and webinars are happening for this industry. So InSpace is one which is doing it on very regular basis. Then we have Geospatial World. This magazine is especially for the geospatial in India as well as the world, like, geospatial analysis and analyst and everything. It's a very popular one, and they also hold a lot of exhibitions, and a lot of these in-person interactive sessions are being held,
Mm-hmm.
not only in India but all over world, because it's a global platform. So and these freelancers doesn't have to be from India only, they can be from anywhere in the world. So one is now, I think, upcoming one, just last month there was in Milan.
Mm-hmm.
Next month there is this Earth Observation Summit is in US. So I think Australia also something happened 2 months ago. So a lot of these interactive sessions where you can build up networking, where you can tell about your company is happening. So
Okay.
it's like it's happening in a very large scale.
Hmm.
And this industry is a small niche, and people know each other very well, like, even though I am a newcomer, but I know who are the top people who are working in this, which are the top companies, or which are the companies there. In India there are like, if we count, then there won't be more than 100 or 200 companies which are working into this space. And so marketing, we don't have to be like, on all over the places. It's a niche market, and LinkedIn, Twitter, then this seminars and webinars that are happening, and interactive sessions that are happening. So this, the 5 6 things are enough to get into the people who are doing the work, because it's still a very close community.
Got it.
So
Got it.
that was the marketing doesn't have to be focused on many areas, just few 3 4 areas is enough.
Is enough to get the service providers to come
Yes.
and get listed on the
Yeah,
platform.
yeah.
If you were to try and connect with, let's say, ICICI Bank, and tell them that, listen, for your loan, for your lending arm, this product will make a lot of sense. Do you think, are there any creative ideas that you've thought of in terms of getting to them? How do you intend to, or again, like I said, is there a specific industry that you think would be more open to this idea, and therefore will be your first place to start?
Actually, a lot of work is actually happening in insurance and banking sector. That is the reason I gave you this example. And a lot of work is happening from government sector. Like, government sector is trying to push private players to
Uh-huh.
come up and connect, because for example, the states, they want to know about their agriculture, they want to know about their disasters, they want to know about, and they're aware of it. Like, you don't need any pushing or telling them. The industries which commercially want to use it, the management or the players, they know that we need this data. And
Okay.
they're also talking to companies. That is the reason, they are doing a lot of seminars, webinars, interactive sessions, so that they can actually invite as many people to join hands with them and provide them with the good analysis or the final product. So it's like, the users know. They don't have to be told. So this
Yes.
is a good thing about this, because the financial sectors, they know how they are using it. And many of the banks, they are actually using it. Some of
Hmm.
them might be trying to find new players, so that's where our platform will come into being. So it's not that they're not using it, they are using it. The marine sector, the marine sector is using it. Defense is using it, ISRO is using it. So the players, the users are using it.
Yeah.
But they still have a lot of more scope to use it,
To use
because
it.
they don't have to be told. uh,
Huh.
Even the police is using it. So it's not that they have to be told. Actually, they are the ones who are telling, oh, we need these kind of products. Is there any player who can give this to us? So the users are actually pushing it. So
Oh,
this is very good thing in this
okay.
industry, that users know it. We need this product. Only thing is, they need to get someone to develop that product for them.
Okay.
So,
Understood.
they don't have to be told. They don't have to be handheld. They don't. Maybe the small users, like, small commercial users, like farmers, or say, somebody want to use this data for their own company. For example, somebody is doing land survey. So the company is doing land survey, and they want to use the for they want to expand into this. Or somebody creative wants to know about that, where my market lies, and want to use this data to find out that. So the small players might be need to tell that, this data can be used for these purposes also. But the
Hmm.
big players or the industry itself know where this data can be used. So they are the ones demanding.
They are the ones demanding it. And obviously, I would assume at this point that going to the small players is something that possibly happens much later in your
Yeah.
journey, because right now there's clearly a demand for it. The people who need this know that they require it. The people who are working on it, service providers, are also knowing. So you're just at the right time at the right place, so to kind of take this on. If I was to shift gears and ask you, while we were starting our conversation in the beginning, you told us so much about your journey. There were so many different steps that you took to get here. Um, I would assume that in a situation like this, support becomes important. So how has what has been the most challenging part, and how were you able to get over it?
Challenging part was the industry itself, because when if I mean, you might have heard of this term, which I used to hear a lot in IT sector. If a problem is not being solved, they say it's not a space technology. you know
Okay.
it's not a space science, you can do it. But
Uh,
now what I'm trying to do is a space science, is a space technology. So that was the biggest challenge, because I am not a technical person, or I don't come from a technical background. I'm a marketeer, I'm a salesperson, and I come from a very non-technical background. So
hmm.
to understand, for me, the main challenge is to understand the technology behind it.
Hmm.
To be able to give a product to a customer, the back end process, you need to understand that. So the main challenge is to understand what happens. To say it's very easy, or there is an image you can analyze, you can give it to the commercial user. But this whole process is very technical. It's something, it was something beyond my education to understand all these things. So this is where, being into Trivandrum, being into this sector itself, because I'm surrounded by all the scientists. and the interactions, daily interactions happen in the space sector, and I am into the conversation, and I understand how these conversations are going, or how this technology is progressing. uh, it was easy for me to get to the right people, where I can find the expert to ask my questions, which, as I told you, in spaces, organizing a lot of seminars, webinars, and hand-holding people, and teaching them what to do. So that bottleneck was there, that I am not technical, but I know where I can get the information and the knowledge to overcome that. That bottleneck. So that ways, it's okay. If you have curiosity and a passion to understand something, I don't have to exactly go and do the work, but I can understand the technology and everything and get the work done. That's my job.
Yes, absolutely. And I think more than anything, what you have like consistently displayed in this conversation is if you're passionate about just building something, you will figure it out. Even without being a technological person and in an industry which is so knowledge heavy. I feel like I have zero information about this when I'm speaking with you. You have been able to establish yourself. You have come to this point where you know that the product is ready, and there is traction in that. I think that is just fabulous, and I wish you all the success, Meera. And next time, I hope that when I speak with you, it's after you've been on a few stages and spoken about it, and there is so much more traction behind it. Thank you for your time so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.